started. That's why I'm a big mouth. That's true. Thank you for coming to 1 Million Cups El Paso. We'd like to start off introducing our organizers. We have Serena Harper, Esther Lopez,
Morning, everybody.
Cynthia Trejo, Nancy Lowry in the back, Nicole Martinez, out of the video right now. Ramirez, sorry. And then Eric Bishop, who's in the back on a phone call. And I'm Ernesto Gambos. Again, thank you for coming to 1 Million Cups El Paso. Who's here for the first time? A show of hands. Okay, we have a liar, but thank you so much. We do have the first time. We have a special guest this morning. We actually have Shane Reeser from here, all the way from Kaufman, and you're going to be hearing from him as our second presenter, so we're very excited about that. You here, being here as part of 1 Million Cups, are part of a very large movement. There is over 140, are we up to 150 yet, communities? Do you know, Shane?
I don't know that.
Over 140 communities.
It said 163 on the website yesterday.
The website says 163 communities all over the U.S. doing this event. So what is 1 Million Cups? Every week we get together for an entrepreneurial showcase, networking, and educational event. We bring in 2 entrepreneurs to come and tell us their story, their entrepreneurial journey, their trials, their tribulations, and then the audience gets to ask them questions for 50 minutes. And that's the real value add. They get so much valuable feedback where you can question them, challenge their assumptions, so don't be afraid to get in the weeds with them during that period. That's the value add for them. So again, by being here, you're part of a huge movement. The name comes from the idea that someday soon we'll be able to say over 1 million cups of coffee have been drank while we discussed and talked about and promoted entrepreneurship. So that's really, really cool. We'd like to do a shout out to our sponsors. The delicious coffee that you're enjoying is with 210 Coffee Roasters. They do have 2 retail locations around town, so please do support them. And again, they can also provide coffee for events or your offices, things like that. So 210 Coffee Roasters, delicious coffee. Our venue sponsor where you are today is the Hub of Human Innovation. What is the Hub? We are a business and technology incubator. We are supported by the City of El Paso and various private donors for the purpose of economic development. If you have a new business, a new product, or growing a new business or new product, come see us, we can help you. That's what we do. We're very, very affordable. I think we're the best deal in town, so please do come see us. Let's see that. A couple of housekeeping announcements. If you park in front of the building, in the angled parking, make sure you're backed in. If not, the City of El Paso will come and leave you a nice love note. Also, if you're in that angled parking closest to Durango, you only have an hour, so you may want to watch the time. If you're on the side closest to the Paisano curve, you're good to go. Please do sign in and follow us on Facebook and Twitter, both the Hub and 1 Million Cups. You can download the 1 Million Cups app, and then you can also please check in. So please, everybody, take out your phone. Please wave your phone. I'm not going to go on until I see people waving their phone. We're just going to sit here. Now that you have your phone out, not all of you, some of you don't follow orders well, please do check in. A lot of times I come up here and make the announcement and I forget to check in, so please do check in. And also on the app, you can provide feedback to our presenters, so that's really, really cool. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our first presenter, HomeChat. There we're going to go. To the right is
Morning, guys. How's everyone doing today? Good. Today I'm going to talk to you about my company. It's called HomeChat. Now, what is HomeChat? HomeChat, we are an artificial intelligence chatbot developing company. Now, put in a little bit more simple in that, chatbots are basically, let's say that you're looking for a personal assistant. They will be qualifying your leads, answering all the questions to your customers, 24/7, 100% response time. That's basically what a chatbot is. Now, we had successes already here in El Paso. I actually, when I tested this, you see, I started out as a real estate agent at the age of 22. I'm now 25, just in case you guys want to. I'm now 25. They sold me the dream. They sold me the dream and I bought it. I'm going to the model home every day and waiting there for traffic to come. And so I was very confused, it was very frustrating. A lot of people doubted me because I didn't have the skills to go out there, door knocking, handing out flyers, doing the old school way. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but right now, 2018, we're at the beginning of the 4th industrial revolution. That means that artificial intelligence is gonna take over. By 2020, 85% of people are gonna be interacting with your businesses through artificial intelligence. Now, I was founded by coincidence, I guess, not coincidence or destiny. I had already had this vision when I was sitting at the mom homes. I was like, emails, I'm not getting so many open rates, not getting traffic, there's gotta be a better way. So, come October 2017, I was like, you know what, I'm out of this. Something told me, just, you know what, quit. And so I quit. I went to my apartment, and my friend from Barcelona, he's a senior app developer. We just started talking, and then I told him, hey, you know what, I want to buy into Facebook ads and everything. So I was researching a little bit, and then I came across artificial intelligence. I came across a bot. And from there, of course, I turned on my UE Mega Boom, started playing some Biggie Smalls, and I got to work. I started doing it. And so the results were incredible. During 1 week of running Facebook ads in this chatbot for me getting qualified buyers for real estate, in 1 week I got 75 leads. 1 week. It was the best thing because the chatbot is going to be communicating to you everything that your lead is doing throughout the chatbot. So it was December when I launched this. It was December, and I was literally partying because it was December, right? So I was drinking tequila with my friends, and I was getting lead notifications, what they were doing, when they were putting in their information. I was getting notifications if they didn't put their information, and it was just going down all the funnel. It would spit them out, and they were already qualified. I would know when they were ready to buy, what type of home they were looking for, what their income was, everything. So we started out, of course, with real estate bots, but then seeing the great response that we received, we're now building bots for everything. So barbershops, CrossFit gyms, restaurants, lawyers, insurance companies. Insurance companies are really big on it as well. And our clients are mainly big corporate headquarters because we've been seeing a lot of response from the Ukraine. We've gotten a lot of people from the Ukraine. We've gotten a lot of people from Australia, a lot of people from Ecuador, a lot of people from the Philippines as well. So this is just growing tremendously. It's like when you're surfing, I've never been a surfer, but I figured, right? When you're surfing, when's the best time to catch a wave? Is it when it's already formed, or is it before? Of course, you want to get it before. You want to paddle, and then catch the wave right. So that is why I started this. Now in 2018, we're seeing it expand a lot. There's bot communities. We've come around a lot of big successes. And right now, one of the biggest challenges that we actually had is adapting this technology here in El Paso, actually. Just here in El Paso, because I'm not quite sure that we're not as receptive to use technology as other major cities. I guess in other major cities, there's so much competition that you always want to be pushing ahead. And so I have a demo for you guys. I'll hand out with the question and answer, so you can see what the chatbot really does and its capabilities. So as I mentioned, we did have, I was noticing all these patterns. So email, fun fact, how many of you have email? Or show of hands. When was the last time that you opened your email? Email only has 20%. That's what my screen looks like. I'll be honest. I don't answer emails. Send me an email. If I'm on my email at that moment, I'll read it. If not, then no. Email only has 20% open rates, 1.95 click-through rates, which means that within the next 3 years, email is probably going to be gone. The key trigger points that we found with the HomeChat is, of course, the gratification. This feeds into millennials. Millennials need gratification. You see a lot of people taking selfies, likes, shares, everything. So what this does is, of course, since you're getting 100% response time, 98% open rates, 44% plus click-through rates, 24% availability, everyone's having fun with it. Everyone. And so, of course, we already integrated this. We're using Facebook Messenger platform. The reason why we're using Facebook Messenger platform is because Facebook Messenger has 1.2 billion users. Compared to email, I think it's 3.6 million. Now, those are some of our successes right there. This is the biggest one, of course. We had 510 leads per day, 3,063 sales leads in 6 days for home development and home style products. That's for one of our clients. Companies already implementing is Starbucks, Pizza Hut, and of course Gary Vee and McDonald's. And of course, I wanted to present to you a free formula that way you can take home and start running ads yourselves, because I found this big success with just Facebook ads. Facebook ads, you can target your people. I can target my, I'm not practicing real estate anymore, but I can target my people based on their income, based on how much assets they have, based on their likely to move, and within what time they're going to move. I can also exclude the competition. So nobody else in my field is actually. So you're going to have this access when you go ahead and demo it. Our plans for the future, our biggest goal is, I'm not kidding, is to take over. Simply take over. I mean, no, we're gonna leave. I'm thinking between probably at the end of March. I'm gonna leave and go to Austin. Go to Austin or the Ukraine. I'm just gonna be flipping around cities, just growing this. And what makes me so confident saying that I'm gonna take over? I have the work ethic. That's all I do. That's all I know. I've known failure all my life. This is the only thing that's been successful for me. And I'm going to leave you with a quote right here. It says, by 2020, consumers will handle 85% of their engagement with business without ever interacting with them. According to predictions from Gartner Research. So this is powerful. And I wanted to show you guys this. Pretty much it. You guys have any questions for me?
Yes, questions?
Yes.
Question. Is it already compatible with Zoho? And how is it comparable to other bots that are already interacting and having options?
That's a good question. So it is compatible with a lot of programs, a lot of APIs, your favorite apps, websites.
Zoho?
Soho, I believe so, yes.
CRM system?
Yes. Oh, okay, CRM system, yes. We actually integrated. So the good thing about this is that you don't have to ask for the person's information anymore. As soon as they click your bot, it goes ahead and registers it. It sends a SAP to Zoho, registers it to your CRM. Within that minute that they click the bot.
How is it comparable to other bots that are already out on the market, that are already doing business? Regarding the technology itself and the options that you offer the customer and prices?
Prices, that's actually been one of our biggest challenges, pricing. Since it's so new, it's hard to price them because every bot's different. Every bot has different technologies. It just depends on how complex you want the bot to be. Compared to others, basically the pricing is pretty close across the board. We're right now trying to implement growth hacking, so that way people can use it as a service instead of having to purchase the products. Sorry, any questions?
One comment and a question. I actually went to Google headquarters about 11 years ago and talked about by 2020, a lot more people were using their cell phones and stuff, so I hear what you're saying. The other thing is, what do you, I mean, you hinted on the pricing, but does everybody buy the app or the bot once and they have it forever, or is it monthly fee, or?
Yeah, that's a good question actually. So right now, since we are doing semi-custom and custom bots, they purchase the bot and then it has a retainer fee. Once they decide to leave, no contracts. If you decide to cancel, you go ahead and keep the bot. There's we build it for you, it's custom, you go ahead and keep it. So that way you can keep on doing it, even if you want our service.
Are your bots patented? I mean, what safety measures do you have in place to make sure that somebody doesn't take your bot, rip it off, and do the same thing for a lesser price?
That's a good question. They're not patented since they're so new, and they're chatbots. Basically, everyone's creating them. There's a whole community of people playing everywhere, so it's kind of hard to patent these. About stealing them, I'm not really worried about that because once somebody sees my bot, it's kind of hard. They're gonna have to take a lot of time to go through the whole bot, click it, see what this does, see what that does, and then go ahead and work on it, which is gonna take them forever.
So is it like an art, like there's a lot of demographics that are involved that you can weave together?
Yes, there's a lot of conditions. So let's say that you're user A and you decide to click something. You're user A, you have certain income, you're using the real estate experience. If you have certain income, it's going to take you to a certain place. So it just has a lot of restrictions, conditional responses.
Just keep it away from the Russian.
So a couple of things about the patent, just as a side comment. It's really hard to patent any type of software. You usually go just with copyright because otherwise nobody could write software because all the junk would be patented.
So just
Yeah, copyright is a way to go. And the question is, so Amazon has a team of like 5,000 people working on Alexa, right? They even have like a $1 million challenge for anyone who manages to do a bot that can talk, small talk, for over 20 minutes. And the challenge has been out for a while. All the brightest minds in the world, I assume, are on this, at least in academia. And the record so far is 3 minutes, right? So I think we're still a bit far from that really, at least for small talk, right? But there's also other platforms like Watson from IBM and things like that that allow users to create their own bots, right? So what's preventing, companies from eventually getting a hand of services and somebody offering, build your bot rather than I'll build it for you. You know what I mean?
build your bot. There are a lot of, that's a good question actually. There are a lot of platforms out there. Chatfuel is one. I think Messenger actually yesterday, it was announced that Messenger now, if you run Messenger ads, how it has like a little, it's very simple, but you can start putting things into the Messenger replies. It's going to be like a small bot. Other companies, I guess, the reason why I'm not worried is that I have the experience. I have 25 years of just pure experience that I've gone through a lot of failures. And of course the real estate experience where I was doubted a lot, but I already know the weaknesses. And that's what I'm implementing. And it's like, let's say with your job, nobody's going to do your job better than you. It's not nobody's going to do my job better than me. I'm confident.
No, I was just thinking, because this idea of a chatbot is kind of new to me, and I just, kind of brainstorming some ways to automate some of the more, I guess, routine functions of account registration and stuff. Is that something that you could do as a chatbot?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's endless possibilities with restaurants when not having table booking successful. You can now pay through Messenger. That one's a little bit iffy because a lot of people aren't used to paying through Messenger. That's why we still have our website. And but yeah, it's basically capable of a lot of things. The way I do it is I track my orders through there, they order it, and then I send them to my website so where they can pay. But it is able for them, like a restaurant, they can order ahead and pay ahead. Go there and already. No interaction whatsoever with people. Save time. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you some tough questions. How many of you in here are Gen X?
Or what?
Gen X.
Generation X.
Generation X. I'm on the border. I'm on the border.
We all are.
Which is about 95% of this room. We're still stuck in the 80s. So all this cool stuff you're talking about, to a lot of us is kind of foreign, kind of like, what are you talking about? And how the hell does it work?
She's not your customer. Says you, I'm not stuck in the 80s.
What age group are you in?
Well, fair enough.
Right now. So, second question. What are you going to do to implement and promote this to us Gen Xers who are trying to get up there with millennials and be that extra competition? Being experienced just doesn't mean shit to me. There's going to be other people who are going to be smarter and faster to create that. Second, copyright it, because just because it's in Ukraine doesn't mean crap. Someone's going to take it and develop it here in your street. Third, you say you're going to go to Austin. What are you going to do to implement it here and make it strong here in El Paso before you take it? Because that's one of the biggest things that always happens here in El Paso. Somebody comes, develops this great program, I'm done with El Paso, I'm going to Austin to make bigger, better money, screw El Paso, and never coming back.
That's, I don't know. I don't even know which question to answer first.
That's fair.
How are we going to target? How are we going to target you guys? That's simple. Facebook ads. You just target a certain age range, and then.
So what certain age range are you going to start targeting here in El Paso before you leave?
We usually target starting at the age of 25 to 60. 25 to 60, that's actually the highest people that are on Facebook are women, actually, in the ages of 40 to 50. And then those are the people that, of course, click the most, since they're just scrolling in the course of cubes.
But also for business, so you're going to provide any type of courses for those of us in that age bracket to learn how to maximize this for our own business?
Yes, I'm actually including a free ad formula in there, so who has the Messenger app?
Alright.
Who has a Messenger app? Good. If you could please put out the Messenger app. Facebook Messenger. Yeah, Facebook Messenger app.
Okay.
And then at the bottom, there's going to be, it's going to be people at the bottom.
Yeah.
Click on people, and then at the top left corner, it's going to say scan code. Click on scan code. And go ahead and scan the code. So you see that this is like, this could be your new business card. As soon as they scan it, you have their information, you have contact.
So is this how people start interacting with you? Put something on Facebook?
There's six different types of chatbots that we have. One of them is the scan code, one of them is comments. So like on Facebook, when someone, let's say that you post an ad or post, just a regular post, and it says comment info for more info. As soon as they comment info, it triggers the bot. As soon as it comments info, it triggers the bot. The bot opens up the messenger and one of them is also on the website. There's going to be a the website. There's a little circle at the bottom right corner. As soon as they click on it, they go ahead and talk to you.
So if I buy a bot from you, then I can put that same bot on my website, on my Facebook, and on my Messenger?
There's different ways to put it. There's even like a link one, so you can send people. Just put the link, as soon as they click it, it's it.
So when the person clicks on it, all their information is shared with them. So how do you get that person's information? Facebook, phone number,
For the phone number, we're still trying to provide a better way to get it. However, once you provide value to people, they have no problem sharing it with you. Of course, you already provided value with them. They already established trust, rapport. They're going to go ahead and give it to you. If they're really interested, they're going to give you the number. If they're not interested, then you don't.
right, because I'm asking if you're going to get leads. You're saying you get leads. That leads includes phone numbers or what?
Yes. 75 leads that I got, including phone numbers.
And email addresses?
Email addresses I didn't ask for because I didn't want to be.
You don't like them?
No.
I read that a lot of millennials in your age group, they hate Facebook. A lot of them are going away from Facebook. We're leaning more towards Snapchat. So who's your target market, for your product?
Well, since for this one, it just depends on since we're just building the bots. But when I use it for real estate, Our target is from age 30 to 54. Those are people that already have a home, they're either not selling one, or new home buyers, or people from out of town.
Okay, we have time for maybe one more question before the final question. Any other questions? One? Going once? Going twice? Okay, the final question is always, what can we as a community do to help you?
Spread the word. Spread the word that artificial intelligence is here in El Paso, and that we're here to help your business grow, get more sales. This saves you thousands of dollars. You don't have to be micromanaging any employee, and of course, it's going to save you a lot of stress.
Oh, one other question. Even though when you do move away, but it still will be available, right? We can still contact you.
Yes.
We can still get the service.
Yeah, the reason why I'm moving away is because I just want to venture. I want to travel the world. So, but this is why I created this, so I could travel the world and be working from anywhere where there's a Wi-Fi.
Great. Thank you, Christian. That's awesome. Thank you. Hold up the mug. All right, thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
And by the way, we ran out of I passed out all the flyers, but there was a bunch of folks standing in the back that didn't get them. Now we have some time for some community announcements. We'd like to start off with the Hispanic Chamber, who has an announcement because Brianna needs to run. Nice and loud, nice and loud.
Hi guys, my name is Brianna. I'm with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm not sure if you guys know, but I want to invite you to our women's conference. It's going to be at the Wyndham Hotel. It's going to be an event and experience. Today we are having a special. Our tickets are going to be $75, so down $20. There's a lot of perks to coming. If you want to update your headshot, it's going to be for free. There's going to be a little cosmetics booth right before you do your headshot. You want to freshen up or anything. We're going to have a pamper room. Woodhouse Day Spa is going to come, give you guys a little massage. You guys are tired, they'll be there. So I think it's just a lot of perks to come and just listen to women speak and talk about how they got to where they are. So
Women only?
no, men can go too. Come. There's going to be a lot of women around. So it's not for women. It's going to be next Thursday, March 8th.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else in the community have an announcement? Oh, she just stood up. Tom doesn't have, but she just stood up. She's the initiative.
I think you get to go first.
Go ahead.
No, we're all about initiative here, so you stood up.
Hello, I'm Megan. I'm the new program manager for Insights El Paso Science Center. This Sunday, March 4th at 1 p.m., we are going to have another public tour of our fossilized dinosaur tracks over in Sunland Park. So if you want to see dinosaur footprints from the Cretaceous period, come join us at 1 o'clock. You do need to register on our website ahead of time. It is $15 per person. We have to pay our guides and property taxes, of course. But please do join us this Sunday at 4 p.m. We're also going to be having another Nerd Night coming up. Let's see, March 30th. It's called The Physics of Cycling. It's going to be over at Podium Finish. So if you want more details about this, come see me, or you can join our newsletter on insightselpaso.org.
Great, thank you. Tom?
Good morning, everybody. Tom Handy with Sun City Investments. I give weekly classes, free classes on cryptocurrency, what it is, how you get involved with it. I'm doing one tomorrow on the west side of Forma Pizza. Next week I'm doing 3 events, one on the east side at Holiday Inn. I'll give you the details later on that. Forma Pizza again next Thursday, and then Las Cruces next Friday. Also next week I'm talking about, I should be presenting unless Ernesto bumps me again.
Tom was going to present today, and he was gracious enough to get bumped so that we can hear from our coffin
I
representative.
didn't know that. No, you should just go now.
No, you're not getting out of it, Shay. We want to hear from our coffin representative.
That's okay. But next week I'm going to talk to you about how to get involved with real estate investing, how to know yourself, how to get involved. It's self-education on your own, and also there's a group here in El Paso to get you started if you want to get involved with it. So make sure you're here next week.
Awesome, thank you. In the back, Andy, nice and loud.
Hi everyone, I'm Andy Crabster with the Veteran for Texas campaign. Always looking for volunteers. For the next week, we're next door in the station space. We're moving next week to 415 East Yandell, the old JDW space, across from St. Clement's Church. We really use a lot of volunteers, particularly gray hair, so anyone that didn't raise their hand and said that they were a millennial, come on over. We could really use your help. And just there's just a lot to do, and we're gonna win the campaign, we're gonna win the race, and be excited to have you as part of it. Thank you.
Okay, any other community announcements? Yes, Tiffany.
We have Cocktails with Friends next Thursday at Alamo Draft House, 5 to 8. We have live music, and just come out and have a drink and socialize with your fellow business professionals. And we have about like 50-ish people that show up usually.
And by the way,
50-ish?
the first,
50-ish. The first 30 people get a free drink.
50-ish in number, not age. Just to be clear.
50-ish number, not age. We take young
We
animals.
take everyone. Okay, just be clear, yes. Tom.
So I got one more. Next Saturday, the Veterans Small Business Association are going to be next Saturday at the Cohen Family Clinic on the Far East Side. It'll be 9 o'clock. I think the hub is going to talk as well during that presentation as well. So.
Nancy and myself, so good time to hear it from me. Anybody else? Community announcements? Yes.
Yeah, I'll do mine. She did cocktails, I do breakfast.
Yes.
Cocktails with Friends, breakfast with friends, every Thursday morning from 8:30 to 10 in Carnitas Querétaro by the fountains. Tomorrow, we have a great guest speaker. He's right here, La Piensa Institute, which looking forward to hearing his presentation.
last week, we're gonna have 55 attendees.
That's right. It was kind of like this, packed standing room only. Although we do have seats up here, folks. So those of you trying to grow, we have seats up here. Any other announcements from the community before I get into my stat? Yes, Monica.
Okay, so we also have a business-to-business networking luncheon every Wednesday from 11:30 to 12:30 at Andales Mexican Restaurant. We also have a guest speaker, and last Wednesday it was about 25 to 35 people.
Cool. Any others? Any others? Oh, one more. Wow, what's the most I think we've ever had? Rachel.
I just wanted to remind everyone to please vote. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Vote early and often, yes.
Friday is the end of early voting.
Okay, next. Any others? Any others? Okay, today the Hub will be hosting Professional Style in the Workplace. It's a free seminar here from 5 to 7 p.m. Workplace Style, the fine line of managing appearance as a professional woman. It is open to men if you want to come see. There will be a makeover by Elise Simmons, professional beauty artist. Wine starts at 5 p.m. and the program starts at 5:30 right here at the Hub. Next, the Hispanic Chamber is continuing their Hablemos del Dinero series. That's a monthly series for for March. Create a marketing plan. In April, it'll be developed a financial projection and it continues from there. Next, the Hub and Kemp Smith are having the legal office hours. Again, this is a great deal. You get 25 minutes free time with an attorney right here at the Hub. The next dates for that are March 15th and then April 19th, but you must be registered at least a week prior because the slots fill up quickly. If you have any questions or would like to sign up, please come see somebody from the Hub. Next, the Greater El Paso Chamber is having their Women in Business Conference. That's March 23rd, 2018. The keynote speaker is Kate White. She's a New York Times best-selling author and former Cosmo editor-in-chief. That's going to be held at the Marriott. Next, the Texas Workforce Commission is doing their Texas Business Conference. Upcoming dates and locations. They're doing this all over the state, but the one for El Paso will be May 4th at the El Paso Marriott as well. They're going to be talking about rules and regulations for employers. Next, the Office of the Texas Governor is still promoting their Export Texas initiatives. If you have a business that is exporting or are interested in exporting, the State Economic Development Office has a lot of great help with that, including conferences where they'll take you to places overseas, Germany, the UK, and then there's also conferences here around the US, so please let us know if you're interested in that. Next, the County of El Paso is promoting their Texas PACE program. PACE is Property Assessed Clean Energy, so commercial property owners are able to get affordable long-term financing to do energy efficiency upgrades. So if you have any interest in that, come let us know. Please do sign up and follow the Downtown El Paso Insider. We're a part of the Downtown El Paso community here. There's lots of stuff going on in Downtown El Paso. Please sign up for that. We already did Breakfast with Friends. And these are lots and lots of events happening, right? There's a place where you can go and get them all, or hopefully most of them. Startup Digest El Paso. Please go. You can sign up to get their newsletter. And all of these events that you all announce, you can sign up and put them on that Startup Digest so that everybody can see it. So please do that. StartupDigest.com. Also, we are collecting success stories. If you've had a success story from either presenting at 1 million cups or coming and doing the networking, please let us know. We've already had a few people let us know of some success stories. The other thing that we just did is, yesterday was National Pecan Day at El Paso, who's already presented twice for us here, Ann Mitchell. She sent us a note, said, hey, can you guys please send out a promo? We're having a special sale for promos in El Paso, and we did that because she's part of the 1 million cups community. Lastly, not directly 1 million cups, although he does come here because he's a hub client. Mark Fogel with Lone Star Trading. Where are you, Mark? Did you already go hide? He's in the office over here with Marcus. He just came back. He's a brand new startup here working with the hub. He just got his first 5 sales. He is starting a line of Texas-themed jeans. As a native Texan, what could be better than that? He went out on a roadshow and got 5 retail locations place orders for his jeans. And we're now going to wrap up and start manufacturing them right here in El Paso. So, success story. Okay, with that, I'm going to bring up our next presenter, Shane Reeser from the Kauffman Foundation. Apparently a reluctant presenter.
Thank you, Ernesto.
Oh, you don't have...
I don't have slides. No. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me. So I'm in town. And by the way, I'm really enjoying my time here. So thank you for being great hosts. El Paso's pretty cool. I live in Tucson. I lived there for 2 years. Before that, I lived kind of in the Midwest and Seattle. So this is probably like the most like Western, like Mexican feeling city I've ever been to, like short of going to Mexico. And it's kind of crazy. I really didn't have any expectations, I guess, when I came to El Paso. I didn't really know what was going on here. I didn't realize you could walk 10 minutes and like hit the border. I didn't realize you were that close. I had no idea. I also didn't know you're just like 4 hours from Tucson, so I just drove over here. But it's been great. I feel very welcomed. So I've spent the past couple of days interviewing leaders of the El Paso startup community. So people that are running organizations, events, groups like MCA and like co-working spaces and that kind of stuff. Just trying to understand what the El Paso startup community is. And one thing I'm realizing is that you guys don't really know what it is either. You guys, like any sort of small to medium-sized city, you kind of exist in your own pockets, right? It's very siloed, and I totally expected that. But I'm excited to be here today because I've spent, like I said, the last 2 days sitting down and doing one-on-one interviews with people, and people have been super open with all of the negative stuff. Right? Shane, let me tell you what's wrong with El Paso. We don't talk. We don't work with Juarez enough. We have really big issues with talent. There's no access to capital. Everyone's leaving town. I'm hearing all this stuff. What I was hoping to do is, after I tell you just a little bit more about this project and I'll give you some more context about the purpose of this thing, and also just tell you about myself real quick. I was hoping that I could kind of do a reverse interview with you guys, and you could tell me a little bit about the positive stuff. What's going well here? What are your assets? What are maybe some of the bigger opportunities that you think could be capitalized upon, like in the short term? Because I need that. I need that for the study. I don't want to go back and write a report on the El Paso startup community and just list all of the gaps and the things that are missing. Because there's some really great stuff here. I don't have a good enough sense for it yet. And I thought maybe this might be a good forum for that. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe it'll get chaotic when I ask a question. People start shouting stuff at me like, well, but, well, maybe not. So we'll see how that goes. But first, let me tell you about this project a little bit. So, Startup Genome is a nonprofit that I started in 2012. And our goal was to map small startup communities. So we created a visual online. You could look at like an actual geographical map. You could see where the startups were located. You could see where the co-working spaces and the resource providers were. There were charts and graphs that showed where money was coming in, where talent was flowing. And it was just a fun side project that I started on my own. And we got a little funding from the Kauffman Foundation. And it did okay for a while. We had a model where we had 2 or 3 volunteer curators in each city that were kind of looking at the data that we had and saying, yeah, that's really a startup. that's not a startup, they failed, or they shut down, or they closed. You're missing these. And so we had this curation model. We grew to about 3,000 curators around the world, and it was going well. And then I just started consulting so I could make actually some money. So I kind of put Startup Genome on a shelf for a while. But a couple of years ago, this organization called Startup Compass called me and acquired Startup Genome. So they acquired the company, and they ended up running with it and doing a much better job than I ever did with it. They're a for-profit company, and they started measuring big cities and doing really impressive, deep reports on large ecosystems where there's a lot of data, a lot of companies, a lot of money, a lot of stuff they could find and verify that was statistically significant. And they have some really cool reports out there, and they rank all of the world's cities and do this big thing called the Global Ecosystem Report, and you can benchmark your city against other cities, and it's awesome. But what they haven't figured out is how to study cities like El Paso, cities that they're calling activation stage ecosystems, cities that have a lot of potential. They have maybe all of the puzzle pieces for like a thriving startup community, but they haven't really figured out how to put it together yet. It's hard to study these things without coming here, and getting context, and meeting people, and understanding the history, and how you guys got here. So it's going to be a very qualitative study, which is different from what these guys have been doing. So they called me, because that was my original passion with Startup Genome, was to how can we benefit smaller communities? Because I thought the smaller communities, they needed more help. Big ecosystems, they got lots of help, they got lots of money. There's, people are moving there, a lot of people are starting companies. I didn't think that Startup Genome would really help New York, Boston, San Francisco, those kind of startup communities. I thought Startup Genome would provide the most value to small communities where there are people like Nancy and Ernesto and some of the other people that I've met over the past couple of days who are giving a lot of their own time on a volunteer basis or sometimes a paid basis, usually working way too hard to try to grow the local startup community. They're putting a lot of themselves into it, a lot of energy, sometimes their own money. I've personally been active in the startup communities that I've lived in, and I've started 1 Million Cups in a couple of cities that I live, and I've run a bunch of startup weekends and hackathons, and I just do it as a volunteer basis, and I'm usually buying beer out of my own pocket. And you can get burnt out as someone who's just volunteering to kind of grow your startup community. And so I thought, if we can give those people some data about what's happening around them, maybe they could spend their time a little bit more wisely and spend their money a little bit more wisely, find the best gaps that they could fill with their skill set and their resources. So that's the goal here. My goal is to spend a few days here, get to know everybody, figure out who's who, and give my notes to Startup Genome and Kaufman, and they're going to write a report. We're doing 10 cities in the next month, and so I'm traveling to 10 cities around the country that are about the same size as El Paso, and I'm just trying to figure out how to study these ecosystems. So it's pretty fun project, right? It's pretty cool. Get to go to some cool places. Cool people. I'm doing Albuquerque. Cool people. Yeah. You are one of those people. Albuquerque is on my list, but also some stuff on the East Coast and small cities that no one's talking about, right? But great people, great talent, great opportunity, that kind of stuff. I also want to give you just a little more context on who I am, so you know why did they hire this guy Shane to do this. Sure, I started Startup Genome, but why did I start? What's my background in the startup world? Just real quick so you have some context. And if this conversation ends up taking 2 minutes, then you can ask me about some of the other startup experiences I've had that might be more exciting. So I was the first employee at Startup Weekend. Way back in the day, I was the chief operating officer up in Seattle. Have you guys heard of Startup Weekend?
Yes.
Have we done some startup weekends here in El Paso?
Las Cruces.
We did one in Las Cruces? Awesome.
We had one here.
They did one at UTEP.
Yeah, UTEP, the university.
Cool, right?
But not everybody obviously has heard about it.
Startup weekends are 3-day events. They have it on a weekend, Friday to Sunday. You get 100, 150 people together. On the first night, you just pitch some ideas for new companies. You form small teams of 3 to 5 people, hopefully a diverse team with at least one designer, one developer, one business-minded folk, and you start a company. So the goal is to start a company in 3 days, which usually doesn't happen. Usually everybody fails. But it's all about the learning process. It's about meeting awesome people. And so you hear really cool stories after Startup Weekends about people that met each other and they start new companies together, or they hire each other. or they get married, or stuff like that. We've had some really cool stories. But Startup Weekend is massive. It's been going, they've been running Startup Weekend since 2007 or something. They run them in every country except North Korea, I'm pretty sure. We got Cuba done. In some cities, they happen 2-3 times a year or more. They've done them on verticals. Like 400,000 people have gone to these things around the world, and some very legitimate companies have been started and have gone on to, make lots of money, get acquired, raise money, that kind of stuff. So it does create some cool outcomes and some cool stories. But the real awesome part about Startup Weekend is the effect it has locally on the community, because it's run by people in the community. It just gets everybody together and just build shit, and it's awesome. I got involved as a volunteer originally, and then I started working there. After Startup Weekend, I went and worked at 2 venture-backed startups. One was in New York, it was called Cohort. It was a Meetup.com competitor. We raised $3 million. We failed in 2 years. I learned a lot about what not to do. Then I went to work for a company called Dwala, which you may have heard of. It was kind of a PayPal competitor for a while. Back when, in the days of Mt. Gox, we were doing like 80% of Bitcoin to USD conversion. I was the CMO at the time when Mt. Gox got ready. It was a really cool experience. And so, a couple of venture-backed startups I worked at, and then now today, besides doing this project, I'm also doing some consulting. I work with corporations, and I run startup weekends and hackathons inside corporations, and I help them with their innovation culture and building their innovation pipeline, that kind of stuff. So that's what I do full-time now. And then this fun project. Let me ask you about El Paso. What's awesome here? Yeah.
It's the largest international border metroplex in the world.
Border metroplex?
Yeah.
I've never heard that
El
phrase.
Paso, Juarez, and now Las Cruces all combined as a population center that now exceeds so many million people, and it gets a lot of, attention for international commerce. And there's a big historical significance here. Paso del Norte on the Camino Real. So it has a lot of strategic significance. And I don't know, that's cool.
What are the other benefits of being a border town? Everybody's bringing this up.
Okay.
Like, we're at the border, we're Juarez. However, almost everybody I've talked to doesn't go there. Like, they don't ever make the trip. Nobody has been able to tell me about a single entrepreneur that has either come here from Juarez or gone to Juarez back and launched their company. It seems pretty divided, so why is it a benefit if nobody's taking advantage of it? Are you going to answer that question?
I think so. I'm going to do my best. I'm not originally from El Paso. I'm from another border town, from the Detroit area, which I believe might actually succeed this area.
Detroit.
In regards to the population, since the Detroit area is 4.5 million people just in the Detroit metro area, and it's right on the border of Windsor, Ontario. It's a pretty big community. We have a lot of startups. I've been coming in and out of El Paso since 2009. I've lived in other places in the country and abroad. And I do business here in El Paso. I have a couple of companies, and I do work with people in Mexico. So I do go back and forth, and I do work with them, and doing my best to develop more relationships with people here in the community. I think that the one thing that benefits from being in a border town, or in a city that represents the border town, is that you have an enormous amount of diversity, whether it's represented or not. Everything here is in silos, right? The term we use. Everybody's in their own little clique, everybody's separated, everybody's scared to collaborate. But there's a lot of opportunity here. There's a lot of people that are looking for opportunity, and there's a lot of people that are like open to opportunity. So people in El Paso are really, I think the most positive thing here, because I'm familiar with all the negative sides, but the positive side is that there's people here that want change. There's people here that want things to progress. There's people here that are willing to support people, even just emotionally, for that to happen. Where I grew up, people would be like, well, unless you can cut, once you can make it to this grade, you just go home. But the thing, people in Mexico, they're really learning how to be more innovative as well, and people are really disconnected from that. But I think the biggest opportunity is that people are trying to connect here, and there's a desire to connect here, and there's a lot of different people doing a lot of different things, thinking about different people, different cultures, different history, different backgrounds, different needs.
I think the comparison to Detroit is interesting, or other border towns. I haven't really thought about that. Kate, what's your company? You said you're doing some work in Mexico?
I do. I have 3 companies right now. One of them is a direct sales and distribution company. We distribute natural food and wellness products and artisan goods. And And so right now, for example, I'm working with a nonprofit that's in Mexican Juarez that empowers women through teaching them to produce textiles. And they use natural pigments to produce textiles. We're experimenting with a few different things, but they produce one-of-a-kind textiles, dresses, bags, these type of things. And
I'm going to find you afterwards. I want to learn more about your business. I'm trying to get some good examples.
Okay, I'm just going to piggyback off of him. This is the only area where you can see 3 states, 3 countries,
Yeah?
and, I'm sorry, 3 states, 3 cities, 2 countries.
Okay, why does that matter?
Where else are you going to find that? You've got Chihuahua State, Texas State, and Mexico State.
Right, I know it's unique, but why does it matter?
That's the biggest thing. I mean, where else in the world can you go and do see that besides, okay, you've got the United States and Canada.
Well, it's beautiful. And I was up in my hotel room, I looked out and I realized I could see Mexico, but then I thought, how's this helping to start community? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, 7 in the morning, I left my home in Ciudad Juarez, right? I have a company over there. It took me 20 minutes until I met a business owner here in El Paso, with Crisostomo and Antures. We had a business meeting. Then I came here. We are in an ecosystem similar to this in Ciudad Juarez, Technology Hub.
Are you there?
So right now we're leaving at 10, and at 10:30 we're having a meeting with, it's going to take us 8 minutes from here to our office. So downtown Juarez and El Paso, not only are the same place, San Diego and Tijuana, they're in the border, but they're not, it doesn't take you 7 minutes from the office from downtown San Diego to my office in Ciudad Juarez, or 20 minutes from my home in Mexico to a business meeting in El Paso. So it makes a lot of difference having the 3 states together. It gives you an opportunity, right? We're doing a different thing. We're trying to jump from Juarez to El Paso. So we have like kind of a different view. But basically having the 3 states, the 3 cities, what gives you is a bigger market, diverse market. In Ciudad Juarez, you can see different things. You appreciate different things. In Juarez, we work a lot with one-on-one companies. Here in El Paso, we're barely starting, but it's a different market. So just by being close, I mean, it takes us really 7 minutes from our office in Juarez to this office here.
What's your name?
Guillermo.
Can I find you leaving right after this, like on the dot?
Yeah, sure.
You're leaving?
Yeah, sure. But no, we'll make a time.
So,
Get a minute.
further on why it matters. One of the Hub's clients, Megawatt Industries, he's actually not here today. He's a Hub client. All of his clients right now, with maybe one exception, are large manufacturers across in Juarez. And we also, you just referenced the Juarez Tech Hub. The Juarez Tech Hub is a sister organization of the Hub where we are today. One of the founders, Ricardo Mora, is a Hub board member, a Hub mentor, a great friend of the Hub. He's often here. In fact, I think he was here last week. As the Megawatt, as a client of the Hub, is allowed to use the Juarez Tech Hub and vice versa. So there's a lot of connections there that are built. And in addition to being just the size of it, El Paso Juarez is the 4th largest manufacturing hub in North America. So there's a lot of opportunities. Granted, a lot of them haven't quite been fully tapped yet, but there's a tremendous amount of opportunity right here because of that. We also, Andy, you had something back there.
What you just said is something that I hadn't quite heard yet, and that is one of the clear benefits is that access to customers across the border.
Yes.
So if you have a company in Juarez, there are potentially customers here. Your company could stay in Juarez, but you have access to customers here, and vice versa. That's what I just mentioned.
There's 340 major manufacturing operations. 340 in Juarez.
Yeah, so other small cities, or cities about this size, that don't have Juarez sitting right across the border, they don't have that benefit. They're looking for customers that they can't find just in their little metro. They've got to drive 4 hours. They're going to fly somewhere to get customers. But you have this massive industry, a few different types of industries, and a massive population.
1.8 million in Ciudad Juarez.
Just Juarez.
Four Johnson & Johnson plants in Ciudad Juarez, Robert Bosch, China.
Yeah, so a lot of corporate innovation, manufacturing. Okay, yeah?
Hi, so I'm an intern here at the Hub. I'm a student at UTEP. I live in Juarez, I cross the border every day. I wake up at 6 a.m. I come here, I go to school, come again, and then I go to Starbucks to make homework, to just avoid the line, and then I go back to Juarez. One of the things that I do is that I intentionally look for students to come here and see the opportunities here, and also bring that out in Juárez area, because a lot of people, they're not educated about this. They don't know about startups, they don't know about the opportunities that Plaza has. So that's one of the things that I...
Is this rare? Like she's coming over every single day?
No.
It's not rare.
I crossed the bridge.
Most of the students?
And 2 minutes of slightly different perspective from what I've been hearing, right? So I was a student at UTEP as well for 10 years. I did bachelor's, master's, and PhD. Before that, I didn't know English. I didn't have a car, so I rode my bicycle across the border for 10 years every day. And I did all my high school, my elementary school, everything in Juárez. And so one of the big advantages, of course, is proximity, right? If I couldn't have do the bike ride, I couldn't have been at UTEP. But also, once I got there, it opened a new world to me, and it led me to see, both sides of the border in a more unique way. Before I came to UTEP, I was working for $48 a week back there in Juárez, right? And so when I got here, I was like, whoa, I can do much more than what I'm just doing right now. So I did my master's, I ended up doing my PhD, and then I ended up along the way trying to start some things up. And what I noticed was that talent goes away. Mostly, I'm computer science, so mostly in our case, because there weren't any big companies to work for. But, so most people cannot just, graduate and make a startup because they don't have any other type of income, right? But also because there weren't any cool projects. So when some cool projects appeared, I got involved with them, and I got to 2 PhD students now graduated, 2 master's students now graduated, to start something up, and they stayed. And they got offers that exceeded 100K, which for this area is a pretty large sum. And they decided to stay to give it a shot, right? And the other thing that benefited us really much a lot is that people take us very seriously here. So I've been to LA more times than I can count, and if I pitch any of my ideas there, they'll laugh at them. But if I pitch any of my ideas here, they'll tell me, how can we help you and how do we get this done, right? Now, the problem is that where they laugh, it's much easier to get it done, and where they take you seriously, it's much, much harder to actually go through the whole thing.
I've heard this a few times.
But now I'm working with a bunch of graduate students in computer science. I'm working with a guy who just got nominated to 2 Grammy Awards.
No, it is 10 o'clock. If you need to leave, please feel free. But this is tremendously valuable to Kaufman. It's tremendously valuable to us. So I'd like to continue this. If you need to leave, feel free. But otherwise, we're going to continue this for at least another, 10, 15 minutes, or however long anybody has. Andy, or I'm sorry, please finish.
Ivan, can I find you after this? You in the back there?
I'm Andy Crafser. I started a company called Spire Footwear in 2002.
Oh, somebody hasn't mentioned you to me.
I had 300 shareholders from both sides of the border. We raised $14 million, and all the investors were accredited. There's probably 7,000 accredited investors in El Paso. The idea that you can't raise money here is crazy. Right. It's a great place to raise money. There's a lot of interest. If you have a great project, it gets funded. And people get really excited. I mean, we started we crowdfunded this before we knew what that was. The average investor was about $25,000. So it works. And, I sold my company 2 years ago to a billionaire in LA, and hopefully it's going to take off. This is a good place for a startup.
You sold your company, you're staying here, it's been 2 years, what are you doing now?
I work for the Vento for Texas campaign, the political campaign against Ted Cruz, as a volunteer. I got tired of throwing my shoes at the TV.
Name's Andy?
Andy.
And Andy's,
I'm gonna find a way to get in touch with you.
And I'm a customer, I'm a client of the hubs as well.
Andy has spawned an entrepreneur too. His son is the inventor of Pocket Hat.
And how old was he when you did that, Andy?
12.
Well, we bought him as the hub, but they have little pockets in the side, and so.
He did a crowdfunding campaign with the help of the hub and raised $13,000.
Yeah.
Andy's right. There's plenty of money here in El Paso. I'm Gilbert Guillen, I was the first vice president of the Hispanic Chamber and worked at the Greater Chamber with Punch. We're retired now, but there's a lot of money in El Paso. There's not just good ideas. You get hit all the time with guys with another flower shop, another internet cafe, another bar. It's the same yet all the time. You're looking for the good projects that you want to fund, to the good people that are the right ones. So there is money in El Paso. Hans, chime in on it, tell them.
Okay.
Here, here.
I'm fighting, this really shouldn't be a surprise to me because I hear this dichotomy in every city about this side, right? There's a group like this that's like plenty of money here, and then there's the other group that's like there's no money here.
They don't talk to each other.
And they don't, and those guys, or sometimes women, usually guys, unfortunately, will say, it's not a lack of money, it's just a lack of investable ideas. Right? Everything is super, super early. We just want a little bit of traction before we invest. And most of the things are just the idea stage. They're not taking that first step.
And it's the same idea.
So it's investable. And the other guys on the other side of this, these guys liberally, guys means women and people, entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs on this side of the stage will, they feel as if raising money is the first step. They put their pitch deck together and they're not talking to customers and they're not getting any early revenue. They have zero traction and then complain they can't get, they can't raise around here. So I wish you guys could just get together and chat. We could get more of these startups that are in the early stages, just take a little bit, get a little bit of traction, get some revenue. I feel like it's gonna be funded. If you start a company here in El Paso, and you have a couple of customers and you have a little bit of revenue, it's going to get funded locally. Because there's not a lot of those, right?
But it has to be good. Good company.
Right.
What does that mean? El Paso is full of dreamers. We have a lot of people selling Amway and Big Eagle and everything else. And you know what? We're done with that. Let's go on to the big ones.
They take it too seriously. I mean, it's hard to raise the money because since there's a few you need to prove it before you innovate it. And usually to innovate, you need to try to prove. So to get that funding at the beginning, it's kind of hard.
You had your hand up a long time ago.
Oh, yes, I actually have a question for you. This data that you're collecting and the report that you're writing, will we be able to access it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I don't know how we'll win that.
And then one comment, I'm not from El Paso, I moved here about 3 years ago. What strikes me as a cool thing about this region is where we sit in the middle of some of the upcoming private space development. So we're sandwiched right in between Blue Origin out at Van Horn, and then we've got Virgin Galactic at the spaceport out in Truth or Consequences. So we've got Jeff Bezos and we've got Richard Branson on either side of us, and we've got UTEP with a lot of NASA connections. I mean, it's a huge pipeline for diverse engineers to NASA all throughout the U.S. And so that's something I feel like we're not communicating to our kids effectively.
Nobody has said that.
And really, it's kind of a burgeoning industry that's happening, and we're sitting right in the middle of it.
There's a huge NASA facility in Las Cruces.
Yeah. We're building a new aerospace education spot over in Fabens. We've got, we're near the McDonald's
That's something
observatory.
I haven't thought to explore. Were you in the back, sir?
He's been waiting.
Yes, through the military, I met a lot of different people in different cities. The diversity here is four cultures. You have the Mexican, the American culture, the Western, and also the Native American. So if you exhaust one, you can always flip into the other or blend into it. A lot like Tucson. And then the other thing is we're naturally the gateway to Mexico. And we're the gateway from them to come here, the largest one. San Antonio claims that, and actually El Paso is. And then the other thing, if you want to see a visual, go to the zoo and daily, during the twilight, dusk hours, see all the traffic that goes south, which means they were here in the morning. You'll see that there's millions of cars that cross daily between the two cities.
Anybody else? Whether you have a couple, yeah, she's had one.
I just wanted to say, for me, I love that it's one of the safest cities in the country.